Well, hello, bonnet heads. Welcome back. I'm Pamela Bob, your hostess with the mostest, along with our beret-wearing blonde, Allison Arngrim, and the guy who puts man in manly, Dean Butler.
Stop.
Bada bing, bada boo.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Pamela. How are you? And yes, good morning, beret wearer. And so, we were just talking about you are like, it's 6 p.m. in Paris now, right?
Yes. We're coming up on, what is it? Checking the time here. It's just 5 o'clock. It is 5
5 o'clock. Oh, it's early. It's not even, it's just cocktail hour.
We started early. It's cocktail hour.
Very good.
It's always cocktail hour here, but it's 5 o'clock. So I'm still being very French. I have still more French to do before I return soon.
Yeah. You look very happy.
Yeah, you look great. You look great. And that's a wonderful background, too. It looks like you're in a Western rocking chair.
I am. My friend here, Western things and Americana and the West and hello, Little House of Mary are huge in France. I just grabbed one of his many Western items he has laying around the house. It's like there's a lot of this.
Looks like the cover of an Eagles album. It looks like the cover of the first Eagles record.
There's a lot of wild Western and Americana stuff because that's what people in France love. And a beret, so conveniently. For me.
Awesome. I just want to say, when this episode breaks, it'll be the 10th episode that we've done of the 50 for 50 podcast. Yeah. And we will be exactly 1 week away from the commencement of the Little House on the Prairie 50th anniversary cast reunion and festival that started back in 2019. Allison, you were there at the beginning of the germ of this idea, and here we are. We are right there.
And it is going to be epic. It's just days away. It is so huge. So many people are coming to this thing. It's so much bigger than anyone anticipated. It's gigantic. It's turning into Woodstock.
I don't know if it's Woodstock, but people from over 20 countries are coming. It's very, very exciting from that perspective. So we've been putting in new roads. We are installing the facades at Big Sky. So there's a picture of the widened road in front of the Little House that's all been laid out. We had this all mowed. We've planted poppy seeds there, but they're not going to come up. Here's a picture of the circle where Walnut Grove is. All of that's been widened and smoothed out so that the buses can drive in there and do a complete circle and turn around and leave. It's incredible. We've dumped and spread 500 tons. Actually, it's 600 tons of road material to get this place solidly ready to go. So it's pretty amazing what's happening up there. And then we are, the sets are arriving in Simi Valley this coming weekend. They will start to go in on Monday. It's just incredible. It's going to be incredible.
And we've got for sets, we have the Little House.
Yes, the Little House, the interior of the Little House. Yes.
A school and part of the Mercantile.
Yes, exactly. It's sort of what we have of the Mercantile is sort of, when we were working on the stage, all the walls could fold out, everything could be taken away. So what we have of the Mercantile is literally the interior of the Mercantile with the walls pulled out. And I think people are going to get a kick out of seeing
the big counter with the cheese.
Yes, all that's there. The stacks of fabrics, the candy, all that's going to be there. One of the cool things, we have a special piece of equipment that's been provided by Panavision so people can see the technology that was used to actually shoot the show. I think that's going to be, people are going to love that.
That's what's mind-blowing about this. It's not just like, you're seeing it. You're seeing it the way it was when we filmed it, because when we filmed it, it wasn't a whole place. It didn't have a ceiling.
Right.
All four walls weren't there when we were in it, even the church. Right. It was a very surreal feeling for us because we sat in the scene. There's the Reverend Alden, and then there's a whole wall missing and a bunch of crew people standing there with a camera. And you're going to get that experience coming like we did. You're going to be standing at the Mercantile counter, but there's nothing and the walls aren't there and there's a camera the way I lived it when I was 12.
Yes, exactly. What we are creating for for people to understand is it's more the soundstage experience. It's what the soundstage feels like when you walk into a space and a set is lit and the walls are pulled away and you're ready to shoot. That's the vibe that we are creating.
Candy, though. I'm so hitting that candy.
Oh, well, yeah.
Peppermint sticks. The peppermint sticks in the jar. I'm hitting the candy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's going to be really, really exciting. Really exciting.
That's incredible. I've always wondered, especially like the barn, right? Like, was there anything that was shot in four walls, or
yes,
everything was completely separate? What was shot in four walls?
So no, people, when there were scenes at the ranch, say when you could watch, or at the little house where you watched Pa come out of the little house or Ma walk out of the little house and walk across the yard, and the camera was in the back of the barn and they walk into the barn, that was shot on the location. That set was fully functional. The interior of that barn, fortunately, it was very minimal, but you could shoot inside. You could shoot inside that barn, and obviously you could shoot inside the barn on the stage as well. And then that was really a breakout wall.
And then the stage was a complete interior and exterior of the house and the barn.
Yes,
for when it snowed, because that's no snow.
Yes, when it's snow
so
and night
and everything. That's all nighttime, snow, rain.
Right, all that.
Yeah.
This question is going to go the route of, oh no, do I want to know the answer to this? Just like how it broke my heart knowing the bell wasn't real. Here we go.
Okay.
Was there anything inside the church / schoolhouse, or was that an empty space and then all the interior?
Are you talking about at the ranch?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an empty shell. No, I think you went to school in there, right? I mean,
That's the weird part. It was school and not school. So you walk in, and instead of the lovely school and the blackboards, it's just this big empty room, just a plain plywood floor, nothing, no pews, no desks, zippity-doo. However, then they put in long folding metal tables and folding metal chairs, and usually a space heater because usually it's freezing or doing this.
Yeah.
And our fabulous teachers, Mrs. Fife, Mrs. Manier, and a whole bunch of us, me and Melissa and the kids, all of us sitting at the tables, huddled in our little coats with our snacks and our homework and doing our little on-set school thing. Now, we had a piece of cardboard that was duct taped to the table because we kept graffitiing the table and writing on things because we're bad children, like all children write on us. And they said, fine. So they just take down this cardboard, and we wrote and colored and drew things all over this cardboard, and then they'd rip it off and replace it. Where are they? Somebody find that sheet of cardboard. Somewhere there's some sheets of cardboard.
They might have been blown up.
Probably all gone. But if somebody had one of those, just in blackmail potential, it would be worth a fortune because of the things we wrote on it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. What else? My Wi-Fi went out for a minute, so I lost a chunk of time, but I'm back now.
Okay. Well, we never stopped seeing you.
Oh, you didn't? That's
wild. No, we could see you the whole time. Yeah.
You all went away.
We talked about all of the people who are now involved in the shenanigans in school.
Oh, great.
I mean, not only do we have people coming to see it from all over the world, we have people who are putting it on from all over the world.
Yeah. We
have Eric Caron of Montreal, who's just a genius, just these gorgeous things. And so it's a lot of his artwork and he always knew when people say, I don't remember where the buildings were. Eric Caron did in maps and charts and diagrams.
Yes.
And then Orlando de La Paz, or Olan, as we call him, for the Philippines. He's watching Little House in the Philippines.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And now he lived here forever, and he's amazing. Pretty much every theater in LA, if you see a painted backdrop or painted floor, it's pretty much Olan. That's him. He's done stuff for me.
He's a very talented guy. Yeah.
They're like 3D. When you look at them, it's like you're looking at 3D. It's just, it's freaky.
Yeah. So Orlando de La Paz has, using the designs created by Eric Caron, has painted 11 different sets that are reinstalled at the ranch, and then and those designs, and then the sets themselves. Fascinating thing the way Eric did this. Eric knew that Michael was 5'10". So he created a 5'10"
in the boots.
Right. No, in Charles Ingalls mode. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and as Charles Ingalls. Got it.
Not in his stocking feet.
Yeah. So, but he knew he was 5'10", and he created a scale model of that. And with all of his screen grabs and everything that he's created and captured through the years, as he was redrawing drawing the plans for all these sets, it was all scaled. He's looking at his plans and what Michael looked like on the sets and scaling everything so that it was Michael's size. That
so like doorway in the
all of it.
Michael's head was here next to the blackboard in the school and came up high. That is how high it is.
That's how he scaled it. That's the kind of work he did. And our builder was sent so many of his drawings. And the builder was just blown away by the level of detail. And you who come and see this are going to see that detail for yourself. It's pretty extraordinary what's happened. Eric deserves a massive, and Eric, if you're watching this, thank you. You deserve so much credit for what fans from all over the world are going to see in Simi Valley, as does Orlando De La Paz and so many others. I mean, Rachel Greenbush has been involved with this. Pamela Roylance has been involved with this.
Baby Carrie since the get-go.
Yes. Her husband, Danny Sanchez, has played a big part in putting together this beautiful tableau across from the little house where we're going to see the girls running down the hill with the wagon on top of the hill and Ma and Pa. There's some really, really fun stuff. And it's just been so many people who have loved this so much, who have committed themselves to making it happen. And I keep saying it's going to be very exciting. We're all working around the clock right now.
Yeah, you are. Yes, I know how hard you're working. What's been the hardest part?
I think it's been the tour. It's figuring out the Big Sky tour. It's 3,000 people, 75 bus runs over 3 days. A timing that. We can't ever really rehearse this before we do it, because you can never get 4 buses filled with people on exactly the timing. So there's a lot of unknown in how this is going to work, because we haven't tested it yet. We've run models of it. We think we know what the timetable is, but until you actually sit down and do it, you don't know how it's going to work. So we've had to be very careful about the way we've structured this, because if it gets out of sync, it's you blow up the whole day. We've
got buses that go around like this, and we know from working there how hard was it some days just to get the huge trucks with the electricians trucks, the prop trucks, and the vans with us up there. How hard was that some days just to get ourselves up from the parking lot to the ranch? And we're going to take buses full of people and be running them back and forth.
So that's really a challenge. Daunting. I want to say to people who are thinking about this, and there's been a lot of talk online about the tour and concern about what you're going to be able to see and how you're going to be able to, whether or not you're going to be able to get off the bus. Big Sky Ranch is not a tourist venue. It's not Disneyland. It's not Warner Brothers. It's not the Universal backlot. This is wild, open country. It's perhaps among the most undeveloped piece of land, 7,000 acres, anywhere in Southern California. There is wildlife. There are gophers in the ground. There are ticks in the trees. There are, big cats, predators, raccoons, all these things around. You won't see them while you're there because they know you're there, but they are there. And our major concern is everybody's safety and timing. And so we have had to make adjustments to this as we have figured it out. And we're going to give people the very best experience we can. And we hope that people will understand the amount of time and effort and love that's gone into this. So that's all we'll say about that. We should move on. Let's move on. Let's meet our guest.
I would just say it's closer to Lion Country Safari.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it is.
There's wild animals. There's snakes. It's completely crazy. I mean, we had to deal with all this when we were filming. Right. It was a lot of work.
Right.
So it's very exciting.
Yeah, there's no paved roads, no running water. There's no cell phone service, no internet service. There's not a bathroom. There's nothing. Everything that's there for the tour is something that we have to put there, including the roads, which we have had to restore so that our buses can travel along these roads. It's a lot going
This is like
on.
the Hunger Games, people. Who will survive? Who will survive? Okay, well, good. This is good that we're letting the people know these conditions and why things are going the way that they're going, and good. We've got that off our chest. That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Right. So we've cleansed the palate for our wonderful, wonderful guest today. I am so beyond excited that this guest is here. In fact, I'm flipping out about it. Yes, bad dad joke. Yes. So before we introduce her, let me say from the studios of UBN Go in Burbank, California, visit SeeMeValley.com presents a special event podcast. That's this. This is Little House 50 for 50. I'm sewing a quilt right now. That's what this music is sending me to. We are grateful, sincerely, so grateful to visit SeeMeValley.com for their commitment to present this podcast. Really,
and
couldn't
we have
do it
new
without
friends
them.
to thank.
Oh yes,
new
yes.
friends
Let's thank
to
our
thank,
new.
too.
Yes, let's do it.
Because everybody's getting in on this. Like I said, everyone's wants to be in show business. They're all doing it. So SeeMeValley.com. But now we want to thank Cozy TV, Road X, Modern Prairie, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who's that? Oh, that way? That's not
Who's Modern Prairie? Yes.
Price Ford, the city of Simi Valley, the wonderful people at Adventist Health Simi Valley, who are all now getting on board this train. Thank all of you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, let's get to it. Let's meet today's guests.
Excellent.
Normally I do the introduction, but today, Dean, I think you should do the honors.
Well, today's guest is someone that I met on my very first day. It was our first day together, and we came together to join the Little House family on May 22nd, 1979, when we arrived at Simi Valley together to play brother and sister. Now, mind you, we had never met each other before this. Michael didn't do mix and match auditions.
There was no chemistry read.
Yeah, there was
Wow.
I mean, for brothers and sisters, you don't necessarily need chemistry reads, but we had never met each other. But when I met her, I just felt instant connection to her. She was real. She was sweet, funny. There was just great warmth about her. And I just made this immediate connection. And I, through the years of knowing her, I came to believe that, I don't have an older sister, but if I could have an older sister, I would want it to be this very special woman. I just think she's incredible. Let's introduce her, Pamela.
Yes. Please welcome Lucy Lee Flippin.
Hi.
Hi, Lucy Lee Flippin.
There she is.
There she is. Lucy, I said this to you before we started recording, but you really, truly are a legend to me. I'm so excited to be talking to you and to be meeting you. I know so many fans feel exactly the same way. I don't know if you know that, but that is true. I think my all-time favorite episodes are the Laura Ingalls Wilder two-parter, where it's about Eliza Jane and the infamous Harv Miller. And I just want to say straight out that I think you are a masterclass in those episodes. You're always a masterclass watching you, but those two particular episodes, you are an actor's masterclass. What you convey in just your, I'm going to cry. Okay, stop. Let me stop the now. What I wanted to say is, oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting emotional. Here we go. What you convey without words shows the depth of the complexity of your character, the complexity of the relationships that is so very heartbreaking. And, I can't watch the episodes anymore because I ugly cried so hard and it goes way beyond when the episode ends. I just continually cry for many, many minutes when the episode is over. But so if I want to watch it, it's because I want to be tortured in the best possible way. But I just wanted to say that to you up front, that you are really like an actor's idol to me. So thank you so much for everything you do.
Oh, Pamela, I'm overwhelmed. the script, that
Yeah.
script
Yes.
was just fabulous. And I mean, what happens to Eliza Jane breaks your heart.
And so fascinating, too, that Michael Landon decided, the pinnacle, right, of the Little House series, which is, Laura's finally getting married, and he decides to make it about you instead. It's such a fascinating choice, and it makes perfect sense because her marriage to your brother affects you directly in your circumstances.
I saw it sort of as a more parallel plot, not necessarily a main plot.
Oh, I think what's so clever about it is that it is the main plot, and we're all okay with it. Like we didn't need to see Laura preparing for her wedding day or getting her dress on. It wasn't important. What was important was your storyline, and then us witnessing the wedding. That's my perspective on it. You can all disagree with me. What do you guys think?
I wonder what. I mean, Lucy sort of said, but I wonder what you think about that, Lucy. I think part of what this is that Michael was trying to downplay a little bit the age difference and the lack of sophistication. And so he was sort of hiding some of that stuff in some of that emotional life, the reality of Laura getting married in this very lovely story, your story that he did with you and Jamie Cromwell, who was just spectacular in the episode with you. I think that was part of it. He got this massive emotional rush, so that the wedding was sort of an afterthought with all of your heartbreak. You were the central piece of that. You're quiet, you're stoical, quiet. Through your disappointment, in your disappointment was really the thing that gripped the audience much more than the wedding did.
Yes.
That's my take.
For sure. They're pretty epic episodes.
Yeah.
It also kind of is a throwback to the books, because one of the reasons Lorna Alonso in real life kind of went, we just got to get married, just do this, is the real Eliza Jane wanted to get terribly involved in their wedding and kind of, sort of like those like bridezilla situations with the sister of the groom, and the real Eliza Jane and Laura was no, if we wait, the whole all these relatives will show up and it will turn into a thing. So let's just go now. And so Laura didn't prove. She wore a nice dress that she had. There wasn't a huge wedding preparation. Right. It's like, okay, Reverend Brown says he's going to do it. Yeah, how fast can we get there? And it was like, how quickly can we do this before anyone interferes with our plans? So in the books, it wasn't like the long, drawn-out wedding setup you would see in a modern film with a modern couple. Yeah. And it was very much because of Eliza Jane. That was part of it. So that was kind of a nice touch that got brought in.
Lucy, did you have any idea? I mean, when you got the scripts to read, were you surprised that it was focused on you? Was this something you knew was coming?
No. But I think at that point, I was leaving the show because my agent handled Polly Holiday, who played Flo on Alice, Kiss My Grits.
Yeah.
And they had a spinoff coming, and he wanted me to play her younger sister. I did not want to leave Little House.
Oh, wow.
Sort of, how can you turn down playing Polly Holiday's younger sister, living in Texas, in Cowtown. So I knew I was leaving, and I was overwhelmed by the writing of Michael Landon.
Yeah.
And it's so appealing, not appealing, but every woman on earth can relate to that plot, perhaps.
Yeah.
It is heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah, what a challenge.
It was a huge gift to me.
Well, and you delivered on it so beautifully, Lucy. And, everything that you did was just unique because you bring such a specialness to it. Now, I've always wanted to ask you this. Did you know, you couldn't have known, that we were mispronouncing the name of Almanzo as we started, and you were the first one to say it on camera. So I always pin it on you.
Yeah, you've been thrown under the bus.
Yeah, I've been throwing you under that bus for years.
That's so not fair, Dean.
I know, of course it's not fair, but it's a good story.
I know, but no one corrected me.
No, that's crazy.
Not Michael Landon, not the script supervisor.
Nobody did.
I thought it sounded nice, Almanzo.
Yeah, Almanzo, but call me Manny.
Almanzo.
Yeah, but Almanzo, my friends call me Manny. Nice to meet you, Manley. I mean, it's like, what were we thinking? It's like it was right there in front of us and we didn't see it.
Yeah, but it wasn't just you. Apparently, it was everyone.
Oh, it was everybody. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Lucy and I, we've talked about this. I mean, Lucy, you and I at that stage on that day, we were never going to make a suggestion or ask a question about anything like that.
No.
Was that scene your first day? Was that scene your first day?
I introduced Dean to Melissa.
Yeah.
Right.
Almanzo.
Yes. That was our first scene together, and it was the first morning that we worked on the show together.
Wow. We were in a buckboard.
Yeah. Actually, it was in the afternoon. It was after lunch, I think, but it was that first day.
I felt like we were two little puppies, kind of, where are we?
Yeah,
you know?
I know. And it was so great.
Yeah, what was it like joining a show that was already sort of up and running and finely tuned? Did you feel welcome right off the bat? Did you feel nervous?
Oh, both.
Did you know what your role was going to sort of develop into?
Not really. I hadn't watched the show
Interesting.
up until I knew I was auditioning for it. I thought it was a children's program.
Mm-hmm.
Famous.
You and I were in the
last
same.
words,
You and I were in the same boat on that.
And then I saw the script, and for the only time in my life, I thought, I think I know how to do this. I don't think I should work very hard on it, or I'll ruin it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what comes across with you. So, I mean, with everyone, the casting is always so brilliant on this show, but you did seem to have such an innate understanding of who this woman was, and brought in the sadness and also brought in some comedy along with it as well. But you really had that innate sense of who she was.
Yeah.
Day one, there was a thing that, and I don't know if I told Lucy, I don't know if I told you this. I've told other people this. I did say something to you the day of. The first time I saw you in action, it was, you'd brought out the class to see where Nellie had gotten her hotel. And then it was time to bring them in. And you could have said 100 different things. Now, class, time to go back in. You could have done anything. You could have snapped your fingers, clapped your hands. You raised one arm up thusly and took the other arm and slapped your wrist in a way that looked, frankly, kind of painful and went, and it was like the creepiest thing I'd ever seen. I'd never seen anyone do it before. And it was so perfect that this was me. Yes, this would be Miss Eliza Jane Wilder. This is how she would bring the class to order with this wrist slap. And I just went, I was in comedy awe that someone would just to do that and actually do it in front of people. And I was like, I am witnessing history in the making. This is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. I was dead. I was on the floor, dead when you did that.
I probably missed my palm.
So you just missed your palm.
It was an accident. That's amazing.
Yes.
I loved the first time you were introduced. You know, you have Albert and Willie and, you know, everybody, and they're sort of anticipating who you're going to be, and you turn around and you have this very school marmish look on your face as you turn around. It was a wonderful look. And the reaction of the boys as they're watching you is just priceless. And your look communicates so much about who you are.
The contrast with lovely Charlotte Stewart, Miss Beadle, to go from that blonde loveliness to, Eliza Jane was probably very shocking to them, you know.
Can I ask you what if you recall what your audition process was for this?
Oh, yes. I was first called in by Susan Sukman before she was McCrae.
Mm-hmm.
And I read the scene, and she said, I want you to come back. I want you to yank your hair back severely, wear no makeup, and come back. I want you to read for Michael. So
stomach drop. Yeah.
I came back, and Dean, I've read Dean's memoir, so I know this happened to him.
Ew.
Michael was sitting in the corner of the room with his legs crossed with those boots and just that smile. And I was introduced to him by Susan. I did the scene for him. He said, I want you to do it again, but be more strict. So I can do that. No, so I did it again. They thanked me. I left. At least two and a half weeks went by. I thought, well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mine was the same, 2.5 weeks.
The time they took to finally decide on people.
Yeah. It was same situation.
It took that long for you too, Dean?
Absolutely. I mean, Michael basically offered it to me in the room, and then I didn't get the offer for 2.5 weeks.
Oh,
I was just
terrifying.
ready to slit my wrist.
That's a very long time.
Yeah. Especially when they said something to you in the room, but you haven't signed anything.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think
so it took 2.5 weeks for them to contact you. Okay.
Yeah. I think we need to take a little break here because we are burning through this hour. So let's jump out and we'll come back with more. Simi Valley, California invites you to visit the place where all this began. This March at the Little House on the Prairie 50th anniversary cast reunion and festival. That's like next week. Discover our stories from presidents to pioneers. Visit iconic locations like the Reagan Library and more. Make your own memories at visitsimivalley.com. We are so grateful to visit simivalley.com. We're so grateful to the city of Simi Valley for what they've done to bring this event together. There are so many people, every part of this, the business of this community, the leadership of this community has gotten involved in this project. And, it's everybody is touched by it. And we're just so grateful. We're really grateful. Thank you, Simi Valley. Thank you. Visit Simi Valley. Little House would not be celebrating 50 years in the way we're doing it without your support. So thank you for that.
Okay, we're back with our guest, Lucy B. Flippin. I would love to know what your relationship with Michael was. How were you guys working together? Dean, you said she had a nickname. What, he had a special nickname for you?
No, so Lucy, what was his nickname? It was really fun.
Well, it threw me off the first day.
What was it?
And he said, move a little over to the left, sugar. And I looked behind me. I said, who is he talking to? Because
he always called you sugar.
I was terrible because my father called me sugar. And I thought, wait a minute.
Whoa.
And then I finally figured out he was talking to me. And I thought, just go with it.
That's crazy.
But I don't recall him calling me that very often.
I feel like every time you were on the set, he called you sugar, and he really liked you. It was very clear that he really, really enjoyed having you there.
Oh,
yeah, no, I mean, I would have absolutely said that, and because you came in, you were ready to go, you were totally available to be directed by him to do, or whoever the director was, you were always available and ready to invest yourself in whatever the situation was going to be. And, that's the sign of someone who is confident and prepared and you did it. You always did it.
Well, I think he tried to hire people that could come in, know their lines and do the work.
Right.
And he wouldn't really have to direct them, acting wise.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's his ideal employee, if you could put it that way.
Right.
Lucy, do you have any particular favorite episodes?
Oh, yours. Your favorite episode. Lori,
Harv Miller. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
And what was so funny about that, my ex-husband went to college with Jamie Cromwell.
Oh,
at
wow.
Carnegie Tech, it was called at the time. It's now Carnegie Mellon. So I had met him. And we had been we were laughing that Jamie and I should be in something together because we looked so much alike. They thought, with
tall and angular, and absolutely.
You do. Yes, you guys did look. It's fun. It's funny.
And it came to pass.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Now I have to ask, because this image of Liza Jane, I mean, like with, for instance, Albert having this dream of this pretty teacher and going, oh, no, it's Liza Jane. So there was this image of Liza Jane as this woman who couldn't get a man and doesn't marry. Now, in real life, Liza Jane Wilder, of course, was married and had children and blah, blah. And you, of course, have had a fully rich romantic life.
I know. And she married that writer afterwards. Yeah.
If you ever get married, I'm like, yeah.
It doesn't fadge.
Yeah, so in your real life, can you tell us that in your real life how things have gone for you marriage-wise, unlike Liza Jane?
Wait, who's real life?
In your real life.
In your real life, yeah. So we're digging into your personal life now, Lucy.
How many husbands?
What
to talk about?
One husband and one partner.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Allison,
Very good.
Allison, that reminds me. You of all the cast members have stayed in touch the longest. You invited me to your first marriage.
I did. I invited you to the second one too.
No, but we've supported each other theater-wise after Little House was over.
Did comedy sketch stuff on stage.
And the Nellie Olsons. Do people know that?
No, I didn't know that. Tell us about that.
4-person comedy sketch group out of New York, Nora Burns, etc., who are screamingly funny, terribly funny. And they named themselves the Nellie Olsons. They were huge fans, and they felt that their comedy was sort of outsider and, well, kind of bitchy. So they named themselves the Nellie Olsons. And they only had like 1 or 2 Little House related sketches, which were a riot. And I had performed with them a couple of times. And then amazingly, Lucy Lee met them, and we actually wound up performing together in comedy sketches with the Nellie Olsons. It was quite something.
I met John Cantwell at my gym. And it turns out he's in the Nellie Olsons. Wasn't he?
Never heard
in fact,
of this group
he's
before.
the one. John was the one who would dress up in drag as me when they did do a Little House sketch. It was Cantwell was me.
I mean, the way that happened, but I wanted to make sure people knew that you had a comedy troupe named after you, your character.
I do, and you and I were hysterical together on stage with them. You were a riot.
After I knocked over the scenery.
Well, and that's
when
perfect.
You fell backstage, and I had to try not to laugh because you fell.
Yes.
So, Lucy, did you do a lot of improvisational training, some improvisational training? No.
No, I wish I'd been better at it. I took classes, but I wasn't doing improv. You have to be very aggressive.
Yeah.
And go for it. And I was too Victorian. I'll put it that way.
But whatever you bring, I can't imagine in an improv situation that the great thing about working improv, if you have a solid character that works for you, if you have a vibe that's working for you, and you come out of the truth of that, and you just step into whatever comes at you, it works. It can work, and you're such a good actress that you would go with whatever's coming. I would think, I can't imagine you saying no. You wouldn't break that groundlings rule of denial. You would never say
yes,
no.
And, right.
If someone says the sky is purple, yes, it's purple. I mean, and then you go from there.
I wished I'd gone to the groundlings.
It was, I did at one point. It was great. It was great.
Yeah. For training.
Well, you have the comedy chops for sure. I mean, you're just like that perfect combination of the drama chops as well as the comedy chops. So I could easily see you in the groundlings for sure. Did you know that you'd be coming back on for a couple of additional? I know you left the show, but then you were on for a couple of episodes a few years later.
Oh, I know. My least favorite for me was Days of Sorrow,
Days of Sunshine, Days of Shadow.
Why is that?
They totally changed my character. I thought what happened to Eliza Jane? Is she bipolar? Is she schizophrenic? What happened to her? I only watched it once. I have no memory. I've wiped it out.
Seriously?
I don't know. Dean, how did you feel about that two-parter?
Well, I loved it because it was the most sort of diversely challenging script that I had on the in the run of the show. It was the most emotionally complex thing for me, and physically challenging, and all of that with the various afflictions that they threw everything with the kitchen sink, and you were. I think I was wallowing so much I think the character was wallowing so much in his own in his own sadness about where his life was, that I don't know that I was really detecting how manipulative you were being. Laura picked it up. Laura was picking up on it. But I was sort of lost and mired in depression and, all.
But that was also indicative of what your codependent sister-brother relationship was also.
There you go. Yeah, I mean,
it is, it was an interesting choice that he decided to write you that way. When we previously saw you, we had thought that you were finally going to have sort of the happy life that you deserved.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an interesting choice. He did that. Michael wrote those, did he not? Those episodes?
I think he did.
Yeah.
We'd have to go back and, Michael, if he didn't actually write the episode, he rewrote every episode. So his stamp was on everything that was done, even if he was not the writer of record. He wrote the fine tuning on everything. So his stamp was everywhere.
But Dean or Allison, did you ever have a script where you thought, my character wouldn't be saying this or wouldn't be behaving this way? Did you ever have that experience?
Allison, I'm going to let you take that one.
I think there were a couple of times, Nellie, when she met Percival and got nice, that made sense. There was a proper transition there. There were a couple episodes, I don't know, the circus, the prize fighter, where they really weren't sure what to do with me. I was just kind of there hanging with my parents. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like, I don't think Nellie would have sat still for sporting events or the circus. I think she would have been utterly bored and said, no, I'm not going. I mean, the best I gave everything kind of the golf clap. So I would just kind of, when they had to, I'd be like, yeah, thrilled, yeah. But it was kind of like, would Nellie have actually even gone to that event and enjoyed it? Well, you probably not.
And Lucy, I assume there was no discussion with Michael about this. It was, here's your script, or go in. Yeah.
No, I knew you did not go to Michael complaining about a line or wanting more lines or money.
No.
Yeah, understood. Yeah. So that must have been difficult for you doing that then, when you felt so conflicted about what you had to do.
I just showed up and said the lines.
Yeah. Well, you did it very well. If that's any consolation.
Try to work it out.
I wish we could had time to go into your going back to your early career. We talked a little bit about your comedy career with Polly Holiday, or that part of your career. I'd love to have you come back, as we're doing 50 of these.
Please
Lucy,
do.
I'd love to have you come back, but we do have to say, and I'm pushing Pamela to so we need to turn the corner on this, you've been so great, Lucy, to have you. I absolutely adore you. I always have. And I'm just so pleased that you could be a part of this. And I can't wait to see you next week.
You're the best younger brother I could ever ask for.
Oh, that's lovely,
sweet.
you guys.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you in Simi Valley.
You betcha.
Amazing. And Dean and you guys are doing a Wilder panel together, are you not?
Yes. Oh,
panel?
Saturday morning. It's Meet the Wilders. It's you and me, Lucy.
Is that a real date?
Oh yeah, Saturday morning at 11.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the other half of the Wilder.
Yes.
Yes. Lucy, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate it.
You're all wonderful.
Thank you, Lucy.
That's
Oh,
very
wait.
nice.
Yes.
Sure. And Allison, take it.
Simi Valley, California invites you to see the place where it all began. This March at the Little House on the Prairie 50th anniversary. Discover our stories from presidents to pioneers. Visit iconic locations like, yes, the Reagan Library and more. Make your own memories and visit simivalley.com.
And we also want to thank our other partners who have come to help us with the podcast and with the event. Alexander GMC of Simi Valley, Golden State Water Company, Marketingscape, Strathern Historical Society, and WM, formerly known as Waste Management. You know, if there is garbage, Waste Management is there to take care of it. And we're very grateful that yes, they are. Very grateful that they're with us because there's going to be a lot of cleanup to do. And Vista at Simi Valley Assisted Living. Thank you all for your support of the Little House on the Prairie 50 for 50 podcast and our very special event. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, everyone. And I think we have a few minutes. We're going to do some listener questions.
Yes.
Here we go.
Okay.
This is interesting that this question came up because we were just talking to Lucy about this. But Michaela Carroll writes, and I love this question, were there any scripts or episodes that you personally had issues with? Maybe you thought it was a ridiculous storyline, or you just didn't like the way you or another character was being taken?
I'm going to say there was an episode we did in season 9 that I never quite understood. I mean, it just struck me as such an odd story. It was called.
Was there an orangutan?
Yes, For the Love of Blanche, and I just like what are we doing here? But you know, look, it happens. The great thing is with Victor could act with anybody and anything, and he could make it work. But this struck me as being so far out in left field.
I think this was the jump the shark moment, and it pains me to even say that, but yeah.
So that was no, I don't even remember what I did in the episode. I don't know that I did, but just the idea of the orangutan in Walnut Grove, and then we never see the orangutan again, but maybe the orangutan, I just don't even remember if the orangutan goes away at the end or if it's just like at Mr. Edwards' house for the rest of his life in the series. I just don't remember.
Yeah.
I've got a block on it. Someone out there watching knows exactly what happened to Blanche.
You're right about Victor, because I remember that episode, that there's people who love that episode, which really, okay. But it's like, why is there an orangutan? But Victor, his scenes with the orangutan, my God, he makes it work.
He always does. He always does.
He has an orangutan, and he's making this make sense. Why? I don't. But he all the scenes he is in with orangutan, he somehow makes it all make sense. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
And the orangutan. Go ahead. I was going to say the orangutan even had a scene with Rose, which I was thinking, are you going to risk? And this is our little infant Rose. I was looking at clips of it I saw online yesterday. I mean, Rose is, I don't know if there's a wall of glass between Rose and the orangutan, but they're right there across the table. I think anything could have happened there. I mean, I don't know.
And we looked to her as like safety. What?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm sure she was never in any risk, but it looked like if anything had happened, something could have happened, but nothing did. Obviously, she's fine, and nothing ever. But it just was an odd episode. That's all. That
was the episode where I thought, oh, Michael Landon he's done, not because it was written poorly, but because I thought I think he's out of ideas. Bring in the orangutan,
I think the episode that starts out as a perfectly good episode talking about, Mrs. Olson and Nellie's restaurant and trying to streamline things starts out okay, but then wraps up with the guy dressed up as Colonel Sanders.
Oh, right.
And
right.
And the music goes wah 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 ha ha. Yeah. Everybody looks at that when it goes. Yeah. Guy's nuts.
Yeah.
All right.
Next question.
It was fun. Next question. There's the orangutan. Okay. Okay. Tim Payne asks, oh, this is about the event. The event will be held at The event will be held at Tapo Canyon Park?
Well, no, it's not. No. So it's not part of it. The tour takes place at Big Sky Movie Ranch up in Tapo Canyon. So it is at the Big Sky Movie Ranch. That's where the tour is. The bulk of the vast majority of the event, where the event is actually staged, is at the Rancho Santa Susana Community Center, which is a park and recreational building where everything is being created there.
Okay. Well, she asked the question that everyone has been asking, and there have been many a discussion online about this, so we will say it one more time. The question is, will we have an opportunity to get off the bus at any point to get a more intimate look at the area? And then she says, I understand if not. So, Dean,
that's very thank you. So
I know
people are going to be able to get off the bus at the Little House site.
That's great.
Yeah, no, that is the plan, that you'll be able to get off the bus. And so you'll be able to see the little house and barn, and then right across the road will be the tableau where the girls are running down the hill in the opening title. So there will be that opportunity. We were concerned up in town about the timing of letting people scatter to take pictures, getting off the bus, and then getting people back on the bus, and the traffic with the other bus coming and the liability that would result from that. The bus will make two different directional turns through Walnut Grove, so everybody on both sides of the buses will at least have you'll be able to see everything through your window going one direction or the other direction, so that's good. But we're doing something else at the Rancho Santa Susana Community Center that will give you an up-close look at another version of the art. So you're going to get multiple opportunities to see these facades. That's what I'll say about that.
Great.
And I'm just going to say, if you are there, if one of the people taking the bus and you are going to get off, please, be kind, rewind. Please do get back on the bus when asked. I say this because I have taken friends to Simi Valley, people from France, people from Canada, people from all over the country, and asking them now, it's time to get back in the car. We need to go. And it's hard. It's hard for people to walk away from the little house. I know.
Yeah,
but there's so many people and so many buses and so many people going all day. So please, when it is time to get back on the bus,
please get on.
Pull it together and get back on that bus with your friends and get over to the Santa Susana Center where you can come visit all of us.
Lovely. Do we have time for one more quick question?
It needs to be really quick.
All right. This is going to be quick. Matthew Schutz writes, and he wrote a beautiful email, but I'm just going to cut to the question, which is, Richard Bull did these pieces of humor often with Catherine. Were these written into the script to begin with, or did Richard and or Catherine come up with some of these themselves? Who were the writers involved in the comedy of their interactions? Michael Landon, themselves, someone else?
Allison, I'm going to let you take that.
Yeah. When he had one of those talking under his breath, ripping in front of us.
Yes.
Oh, I said I'm going up to the attic. That was usually in the script. That was it. But those looks, the double takes, the pained expression, the the turn, that's all Richard. The man was a genius. And the chemistry between the two of them, which was just off the charts and cannot be replicated through any means. That was them. There were little things like, okay, I think I'm going to go this way, you go that way. Oh, yeah. And they would just do it. But yes, I was just having some more photos printed, and I just found a couple of me and Richard and the facial expressions that this man was capable of. That's all him, babe. That's all him.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, that's all we've got for today. We've got to go. This time goes way too quickly.
Abiento.
Abiento, that's right. You are listening to the Little House 50 for 50 podcast. We're out there on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the socials, YouTube, and we have our website, Little House 50 Podcast, and littlehouse50podcast.com. You can contact all of us through that and see what's happening. And
We'll
For
be
more
back next
information about
week.
the Little House on the Prairie 50th Anniversary Cast Reunion and Festival, go to littlehousefestival.com. Yes, next week. That's insane. It was great to have Lucy here today. I'm so honored. It's been such a privilege, you guys. Thank you.
See you next week.
See you next week, everyone. From the studios of UBN Go in Burbank. Airplane arms, airplane arms.